For a video today, I thought it would be interesting to talk about a scene I shot for a friend of mine who owns an automotive garage. First things first, you can achieve this with any camera, you don't need expensive gear. So no expensive equipment is needed and all you need are the following things. A camera, a lens, 2 lights, softbox and some haze. That's all you need. Alright, let's get into it. So the first scene I shot was this one, where my friend takes off the wheel. Here I used a 50 watt light with a softbox as my key light for the main source light. We categorize it into different aspects of lighting, and this one is the main light, the key light. We turned off all the lighting except one top light. We had a fluorescent bulb on the top. Yeah, it turned out afterwards we didn't need it, but I will get to that later. It was not necessary to have that. In the background we see the second LED light peeking through some haze I added with the smoke machine. It acts as a rim light. What I mean by that is this light right here. So this light creates a silhouette of my friend over here and here. And what it does is it creates depth in the scene between the subject and the background. And that's what we want. As in terms of haze for this scene, one thing a lot of beginners do wrong is add too much haze to the scene. It looks like a hot box, if you know what I mean. And you will lose a lot of detail. You can't see any people or subjects in your frame. It's just all hazy, and if that's what you're going for, it's fine, but most of the time you just need a bit of haze. Throw it in there and let it sit a bit for a few minutes until it fades away a bit, until this thick haze is gone and only particles of the haze are left. That's what creates this kind of mystic filmic cinematic look. As you can see in this shot, the haze is used around this area all to this. Alright, that's it for the first scene, I guess. Let's move on to the second scene I'm showing you today. As for the lens, I used a tight lens for this frame. This was shot on my red Komodo and the Helios 44-2 58mm lens, which is around 77 full frame equivalent. Since the Komodo is a Super 35 camera with a crop factor of 1.33x times. Starting again with lighting first. Moving forward, I turned off all the additional lighting in the building to just get my softbox lighting, the 50 watt light and the small LED light, because I liked the look of it way more than with the additional top light, the fluorescent bulb on the roof. In terms of positioning the lighting for this shot, I placed the light somewhere around here at an angle to light up his face a bit. And then I used the second light, which acts again as a rim light or like a background light to peek through, this one here. I placed it a bit down and it bounced off the wall on the side to his face, which you can see here to this edge. Gives it this nice separation between the background and him. And again, we used a bit of haze, waited for it to disappear a bit, and then we shot the scene. And that's pretty much it for this shot. And we can see here the same frame, but on a wide angle lens. I used the Sigma 18-35 at around 24mm. I'm not quite sure which one it was exactly, but I would say it's about 24 or 20mm. And here you can see it a bit better. We have again here the rim light peeking through the, the suspension, and a bit of haze over here. And the light, as you can see, is somewhere around here and illuminating his face right here and his face here. And don't complain about my drawing. Then moving on to the third scene and last scene of today. As far as I remember, I had a harder time to achieve this shot because of a few different reasons. And the first reason was we had not much space on the left side because the camera was positioned all the way to the wall. Yeah, there's not more room. And on the back side of the camera was already the machine for tires switching or removing tires and putting on tires. And we couldn't move that. So we had very little space to fit in the camera and the softbox. I made it happen somehow, but it was quite difficult to get the shot and at the right height to make this shot happen. And also I didn't want to move the cartridge with the tools. It's all about creating atmosphere and feeling for the scene. Okay, then let's get into showing you where I placed the lighting. As I mentioned before, I had the camera sitting straight to the cartridge, to this toolbox, and right behind I had the softbox, the 50 watt light at at an angle quite high above my head and shooting this direction a bit down, like a 45-degree angle or even more, just to get a bit of illumination here, yeah, and all on this side, as you can see. And then I used the second small LED panel in the background. The small LED panel is sitting right behind his hand, and which means around here. So that's quite low. And I didn't want to let it peek through because we had it in the shots before, and I wanted to create something different. Just illuminate a bit of the background right here and right here. Not too much, because yeah, lighting needs to be intentional, and you need to think about how you place the lighting and how you shape the light. So that's why I put a clamp on this small light and put it way down on the work tool bench here in the background, and it's sitting around here. So this is the light. And yeah, then I added some haze again and waited for it to disappear, and or almost disappear, not fully. Why would you do that? Yeah, just to create some atmosphere. Because without the haze, it looks quite different. It's harsh shadows and light. It gets more illuminated through the haze. It's like a big shower curtain that spreads your light even to the entire room or scene you create. So that's why I love haze, and yeah, it's also cool to play around with the controller and yeah. So if you're just getting started, get yourself a decent light, softbox, and I would say two smaller lights to create scenes. In terms of haze machine, there are also different options out there, small portable ones. Mine is a big one, which is a bit uncomfortable to travel with, so you always need a car to transport your stuff. It's a bit of a bummer sometimes, but and you need electricity, and it's not battery powered. It's also a downside sometimes. Lighting is everything, man. I would say someone like Christopher Nolan could even shoot on a on a potato, on a toaster, and make a great film out of it, because these people understand with all of their crew how to light a scene and how to create feelings, how to create an atmosphere for the scene. And that's what cinematography is about. And today I wanted to show you just how simple and easy it is to get started. Take a friend and go out there and try to create something for them and for you. It's a learning curve, and every time you use the lighting, it's something to learn about. Or do I place the light a bit higher, or do I get a top light, or do I get a light directly from behind, or do I get a silhouette shot? Do I turn off these lights or the other lights, or you can even put on gels in front of the light fixture to make it more blue or warmer tones. Yeah, just be creative with it. Try to use it, try to elevate your skill sets with your knowledge, with learning how to use these tools. You can create some amazing imagery just with, yeah, simple stuff. So yeah, this is it for today, and thanks for watching. If you have any questions about this techniques or about gear I use, just drop it down in the comments. But like I said, it's not about the gear. You can do that with any camera out there and with quite cheap gear. Or hit me up on Instagram if you want to. And yeah, I would say have a nice day, and bye bye.